Shalom. All praises, glory and honor is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, teachers, apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers of Great Millstone, and like-minded men who may not be part of Great Millstone, but are speaking the same doctrine, 100% truth, given to Apostle Tahar and down from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because they're the true Apostle Tahar and down. Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakar, Apostle Ramlab, and the men have come under them, the true leaders of Yashar Allah, the house of David, or the house of Israel on the earth today. Yeah. Shalom, salutations and peace to the elect, men, women and children by Afdawadah of the house of David, who are predestined to be saved in these last days. And we are surely in these last days. So, Lord's will, I'm just going to bring an article out today and probably a little video. So, I haven't really got many scriptures to mind, so Lord's will go in the spirit and see what happens, you know. So, Lord's will, it's edifying too. I don't want to write this piece of information is edifying. So first of all, the first scripture that came to mind is this. It comes out many times, but you know, scriptures are wonderfully repetitive because we're in that time. We're in that time of prophecy. We're in the time of love of many waxing cold, famines, pestilences, plagues. You know, these are the days. You know, that our redemption draweth nigh. Yeah. Romans 13:11, paraphrasing. So, Ecclesiastes, also known as the Book of Sirach 25. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Clearly we're not promised tomorrow, but for today, you know, for now, we are seeing the fall of our enemies. Yeah, our enemies are from Esau, Edom on down, Tabernacle of Edom, Amalek, the chief house of Edom, chief of the nations, Ishmaelites, the Moabites, Agarenes. Our enemies are found in Psalms 83, 83rd chapter, if you've not read that. So, Yashar Allah does have enemies, yeah, and as Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai said in Exodus 17 and 16, that he will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Alright, so what we're seeing is the fall of our enemies, little by little, bit by bit, as I've brought that scripture out many times. I think the Wisdom of Solomon 12th chapter. So I'm going to go into this article. Wow. So here we are. It's in Zero Hedge, dated October the 11th, 2022, which is today, Wednesday. Dark days ahead for Europe, as lack of Russian oil could spark worst energy crisis in decades. You know. So again, wow. But I'm going to quickly get one scripture here. Comes to mind. Here we are. In the day when the keep, in fact, I'm going to get it in the the Blue Letter Bible. So lucky for this. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and we're in this place now, the keepers of the house, the keepers are the elites, the so-called elites, the Edomites, who are the so-called white men, who've labelled themselves because they're vagabonds and thieves, who are on the loose, right, fugitives. Yeah, the keepers of the house shall tremble, and they are trembling. because they're seeing their system crashing. They think they're in control of everything that's going on, but it's not going to happen, you know, because Proverbs 21:1, so the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it whithersoever he please. Just to paraphrase that. So Yahweh Shimon Shai is in control of all these people, everybody, yeah, everyone, everything. So, you know, not a sparrow, you know, a sparrow doesn't fall without Yahweh Shimon Shai knowing, right? So they think they're in control because the pride of their heart has deceived them, yeah, but they're not. And right now, some of them are trembling, yeah, because they're seeing, oh wow, what's going to happen? What we're doing next? They're building bunkers, right? Because they feel that they're going to be a rise, come out of these bunkers, which you find in Amos 9, and be like the phoenix rising out of the ashes after the destruction. But that ain't going to happen. So I continue the scriptures. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, that's the workers, because there's going to be no more work, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Yeah, I'm just going to this word keepers. Shamar, let me just get it.
Strong's H 8104. Shamer.
Outline of biblical usage: to keep guard, observe, to heed. You know, the guys have charge of, so the people are in charge. Yeah, to watch out, to watch, to observe, to keep, to retain, measure up in memory. The watchmen. So these people, in the day when the keepers of the house, the people who are in charge, basically, of the house, of this world, which is the wicked, Job 9:24 clearly states, gives you an example of that. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They cover the faces of judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? Yeah, so that scripture goes into who's ruling this world, yeah, which is the wicked. The Bible speaks of, which is Esau, Edom, which you also find in Malachi 1, chapter 1, verse 4. Right? Grinders cease, and because they are few, so there's not much work, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So they're looking out, and people are, you know, looking for work, and they're seeing that, you know, things are bleak. Things aren't as rosy or as dreamy as they used to be. And this is happening in Europe, you know. We're seeing petrol shortages, you know, energy crisis, which this article is going into. Allah's will, I'll get back to the article. And basically general hardship. You know, there's been places, I think it's in Germany, where people are banned from picking up old pieces of wood from the forest to light the fires, you know, to stoke the fires and keep the fires burning. You know, things are getting bleak, you know. So that's it. We love to see it because we've seen the fall of our enemies. It's just amazing. Yeah, we're going to go through hardship, but, you know, Yahweh Shemiyah Shai's elect will be saved, will be covered. So, you know, we have to have faith in that. And back to the scriptures, Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, then when there's no more jobs. You know, we're getting to that point now. There's talking about recession. We know damn well there's a recession already. It's just a gradual circling of the drain of Esau Edom's system, specifically Babylon the Great. And that's going to be the show. When Babylon the Great, which is America, it falls, wow, that's just going to be the show. You know what I mean? We know they're going to bring in the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. We know what this is about. And eventually the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, the sea hip, which we find in Revelation 13th chapter to 16th, 13th chapter 16th verse to 18. We can't but not mention that, as much as possible, because that's the warning to our people, especially the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, I should say, to our people to not take that, for pains of death, because that's what's going to happen. You take that, Yahweh Shem Shai will eliminate you, simple as. So we hope and pray that that's not our lot, and that we die, if that's our lot, to die with the strength and faith of Eliezer. You find that in Second Maccabees, the 6th chapter. So I won't go into that right now. So there's a few scriptures there that I've quoted and mentioned. So Lord's will, you'll go to them. Stop and pray, stop and pause, and write down these scriptures, because especially Eliezer's account, this real faith booster, and the account of the woman and the 7 children after on the 2nd Esdras 7th chapter. That's a really beautiful account as well of steadfastness in faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshai. And the daughters of the music shall be brought low. We know this is, music is garbage right now. Because these are all signs that this system of Esau Edom is coming to a close. So I'm just read a few of this these paragraphs of this article. A European ban on most crude imports, that's oil imports, from Russia will come into effect in December. For EU leaders, the next task, what that means is oil, petrol, petrol prices are going to shoot straight up. That's called gas prices in America, but our petrol prices will be even going up even further. So it's a slowly but sure grind down of the people. The next task at hand has been finding new sources of crude oil ahead of what could be a very dark and cold winter. The move by EU countries to endlessly sanction Russia for President Vladimir Putin's war with Ukraine by halting crude oil imports later this year is an attempt to make the Kremlin pay. We know that ain't working for the invasion. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen recently said, though it's only backfired as the Kremlin's war chest has swelled by tens of billions of dollars as energy prices hyperinflate and new buyers are found in Asia. And I've got a video to show what the Saudis, the Ishmaelites have done. Or technically Amalekites, but we won't go into that. Going into a bit. The Ishmaelites have done, the Arabs have done to the oil prices, because what they've done is they've reduced the amount of oil that's available on the market, even though America Biden and Babylon the Great, and it's the Pharaoh at the time, Biden, wanted them to increase it, So I'm going to go into this because it reminds me of this, Obadiah. In fact, I go to Obadiah on this one. We're seeing more and more how the prophecies are manifesting, I'm going to skip down. I'm going to go to start from 6. How are all the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And we're seeing Esau Edom being exposed, being made bare on many levels. By Yahweh Shem Yahshai. That veil is being torn off. The veil that is found in Isaiah 60th chapter and Isaiah the 25th chapter, 7th verse. That veil of darkness is being torn off. Right. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Yeah. So the reason why I brought that scripture out is because of what the Saudis have done. We've seen the beginnings of this. This is going into the ultimate deception, the ultimate destruction of Esau, being destroyed by his once so-called allies, which were the Europeans, the beast, which is NATO and the EU mainly. Yeah, and at one point the Saudis were complete allies with the US. You know, they would never have not said no to anything America asked them, Babylon the Great. But clearly that's what's been done. I'm going to prove that on the next video. Sorry, on the video next actually. Let me just get one more scripture. Because eventually this is going to happen. We've seen the beginnings of it. 17. Alright. 17 and 16. And the 10 horns, which is the EU, yeah, which initially started the Treaty of Rome, 10 countries, which was Luxembourg, Germany, yeah, Spain, France. Let me just quickly get that. It started with European Economic Community, but now it's 27. Yeah, because UK came out of it. So the 10 horns. Let's see if we can get this. Which were initially the EEC, European Economic Community. They shall hate the whore. They will eventually turn on them. Yeah. So basically the group of 10 initially that started the EU, European Economic Community, which now developed into the EU as we know it, yeah? European Union as we know it, initially from the Treaty of Rome. So the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, yeah? So this beast is NATO and the EU, right? NATO is made up of various countries, including Turkey and some of the EU countries. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So eventually the beast with the EU will turn on America, Babylon the Great. Yeah, and we can see the beginnings of this now. That's my point. Probably wasn't too clear on that. Lord's will, you got my point. Basically, it started the 10 horns. We started with the Treaty of Rome. Yeah, which was Luxembourg again. I think it's Germany, Spain, France, and the initial 10 countries that started the European Economic Community, which now is 27. They will eventually turn on America. And what we're seeing is the beginnings of those actions. Yeah, we're seeing Europe really not despise. I'd say begin to. In fact, there's an article on it that I got. 1 second. See if I can get it up. Yeah. So here comes this from Tuesday, October the 11th. Yeah, here comes the open revolt. A reeling Europe lashes out at the Fed, that's the Federal Reserve, for bringing us to a world recession, you see. These are just the beginning signs of Revelation 17:16. Alright, I hope I made that a bit clear, you know. So I'm going to play this video as well.
Strong objections. When OPEC made the decision to align their energy policy with Russia's war aims and against the American people, further underscores that reasoning to realign that relationship, to reevaluate that relationship with Saudi Arabia. We are reviewing where we are currently right now, and we'll be watching closely over the coming weeks and months as well, consulting with our allies and also with with members of Congress.
National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said that Biden believes it's time to take another look at this relationship and to make sure that it is serving the national interests national security interests of the United States. The development comes a day after Senator Bob Menendez said that the United States must immediately freeze all aspects of U.S. cooperation with Saudi Arabia, including the sale of arms. On Tuesday, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal and California Representative also introduced legislation that would immediately pause all U.S. arms sales to Saudi Arabia for 1 year. This proposed halt would also halt the sales of spare and repair parts, support services, logistical support. For the last few weeks, United States officials, they'd been quietly trying to persuade the biggest Arab partner to nix the idea of a production cut. But Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has not swayed. But it remains to be seen how far Biden is willing to go in showing his displeasure with the Saudis. Over a year ago, Biden came into office vowing to recalibrate the United States relationship because Saudi Arabia's human rights record, but a tough oil market seemingly forced him to pay a visit to the kingdom earlier this year. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen in.
Decision by OPEC Plus member states to cut back on oil production is definitely a foreign policy black eye for U.S. President Joe Biden, especially after he made that trip to Saudi Arabia back in July. It has also prompted some congressional Democrats to call for a reevaluation of the relationship between Riyadh and Washington, notably